What are you looking forward to the most in terms of your father when he comes home? Like when you picture it in your head, how do you picture it, and what exactly is the first thing you see yourself doing with him?
And the first thing that I see is, just being able to hug him, to see him. Yeah, that's the first thing to actually be able to touch him. Me and my family, being able to just actually embrace him. You know,
Yeah.
that's what it is at this point. After that, everything else comes after that. But that's the first thing. Like I never thought it would be to a point to just be looking forward to touching somebody. Like it's literally been 26 years. It's like going to the zoo and it's
Wow.
an animal behind the glass, not the cage, but behind the glass. But this animal is my father. And then the crazy part about it is that you could touch him at one time, but they took him there and they got him like Hannibal Lecter or somebody, you know, knowing that he has been a peaceful individual and has always has brought peace. Like I said, I have to just keep reiterating it that this was a non-violent drug crime, and he's there with terrorists, people that have actually killed and took a lot of people out. Like he's even over penalized. Like the other people on this case, they were not in the ADX. They were in other penitentiaries. They at least had a chance to have visits where they can, touch their family, able to make it there to see them. Like the treatment was I don't know. It was too much. It was extra.
Do you think they're trying to make an example out of him in some sense, or?
I mean, they are trying to make an example, but if it's the same thing with everybody else, why would the example is not fair? Like, what's your point? Why are you trying to make an example? Is it because that him and these same guys were on a case together, or are you trying to make an example because he was able to get thousands of young men together that were willing to vote, that were willing to march about like medical centers being closed and about schools being closed, and to come together and march about trying to find jobs and what have you. Like, what what's the difference? What's the real situation? How can other people qualify for the same case with the same paperwork, but we look at him differently? I mean,
Yeah.
he's over 50. People over 50, they don't usually commit crimes. It's like 2% that recommit crimes. Like he's a 70-year-old man. Like he's not interested in trying to come out here and get in the streets. And if he
Yeah.
was, like I said on the album, like I wouldn't deal with him. Like I'd
Mm.
be so hurt to go through all this and keep fighting for my father, and he was to come home and get in the streets. But he wouldn't have to get in the streets. Like it's I believe that it's compassion. People have compassion for the fact of what he's been through on and what he's dealing with, that he would be okay. There's no need. People go get in the streets because they're trying to find out how to survive.
Mm.
They're trying to find a way. That's what puts people in the streets. People don't go in the streets because they just want to tear down their community and the people that's around them.
Did you have those feelings growing up at all, like of resentment over your name or sort of the family legacy, or was it always sort of the opposite feeling of just supporting your father?
I mean, I didn't have resentment, but as a youth, I didn't, early on, I didn't know what who my father was, or what have you. And then when I did find out, at one point in time, I was a little nervous. I didn't know if I was in harm's way by having that name. But then as I grew older and started understanding what my father was explaining to me about what he was interested in, I was proud of my father's name and proud of what I was seeing. By the time I was a late teenager, all the stuff that I was talking about as far as the finding the serial rapists in the community and catching them, the guys on the streets, and you know, shutting, like I said, shutting down the city hall and the stock market when they marched. Like this is the stuff I started seeing. I was proud seeing that they were trying to make businesses and all that type of stuff. So at first I didn't know and I was a little nervous, but as I got older, I started seeing nothing but a lot of positivity. I started learning about growth and development, and it fit me and it fit my life. And that's how I live my life, being a part of society. And this is what I learned from my father. You know, I went away to college, home, I got a job. I had kids. I got married at some point in time. I've been living growth and development, which I learned from my father. You know, this was his blueprint that he was trying to pass on to the community. And I got it from him, and that's the life that I live. So yeah, I'm proud of my father and what he's about. It upsets me to hear that some people who believe in him didn't make the transformation, or but when they took away the people that was trying to help people go to the transformation, they took the people away that was passing the information along, and said that you would continue gang enterprise by trying to change people's lives. And that was hurtful, but that's what my father's legacy should be, about him trying to change from what had started, from what was going on. But they didn't want to accept that. They just stopped it cold turkey and left it at what it was. But that should be my father's legacy, and I'm proud of what he was doing.